Hi everyone, it's me, the Booknester, and in a video that I just finished taping or filming, whatever you want to say, I realized that I alluded to something, and it's a little bit of a confession that I have to make. So I'm making myself some tea, and then we're going to go around over into the living room. I'm going to show you my confession. It's not a confessional over there, but it's evidence of what I need to confess. So I'm going to make myself a little bit of tea, and I'll meet you around to the other side. Cup of tea. Actually, I'm so excited that the weather has changed and I am going through tea like you wouldn't believe, and I'm loving it because between coloring and reading, my evenings are full when I come home from work, and now that things are settling down at work, everything is feeling so much better. But we'll see how it continues to go. But yeah, by the way, that's where we're heading next. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. So, because we moved, and of course, bookshelves and taking them all down, and then you've got to reset them up. Instead of resetting up with the books I already owned, and because I had some time in between Book Depository and Amazon, and then a much needed trip to a Barnes and Noble that ended up in me drowning my sorrows and buying books, these two shelves down here and here are basically all new purchases, all new books that I haven't read yet. Now, because I'm talking to people who probably watch BookTube, and down here are my coloring books. So, that's probably why I'm called the Booknester. I seem to be filling my nest, and I have a new nest to fill, and it seemed like I decided that it was time. Largely, I'm going to blame my local library. So where I live now, I have an adorable library. I'm very excited about it. But their main way of raising money for their library, because they don't take any money from the city or from the state, is basically through book sales. So they have an ongoing year-round book sale every, I think it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And it's in a lovely little converted home. It's the home of the lady, I believe, who the library is named after. And it might have been where the library was originally before they built this new one. Something for me to go find out. But this is my thought. So if I buy books and enjoy them, or don't, and I don't want to keep them for a reread, I can donate them to my library. So I'm actually, through my purchases, supporting my local library? I know it's a tenuous thread, and I don't know that it's a very strong argument, but it is my argument. The other thing is, most of these books were on incredible reduced prices. So that's another thing. I'm so far behind all the other booktubers and probably most everybody out there that's reading. I very rarely read books in the year they come out, largely because I don't know they're coming out. I don't have any affiliations with anything that would tell me that. As far as, I don't get anything from publishers and things like that. So I get really good deals on everything, and I kind of sit around and wait and watch my other booktubers to see what they like and why they like it, and then that helps me go out and look. And you know what? A lot of times those books are on sale. However, the one that I just did a review on, put the cup of tea down for a moment, the Essex Serpents, that was one bought directly. It's not on any reductions or anything. And that's another thing. I do try periodically to definitely buy a book full price because I want to support getting more books published, and I also want to support the authors. But in general, I also like to think of it as I'm helping, because where would these books go? These are a lot of these, like I said, are from Book Depository, Book Outlet, those type of places, or they're on the $5, $6 shelf at the Barnes and Noble, or something like that. So I like hardbacks. That's my other problem. So if I buy a book for me to have, with the likelihood that I might like it and want to keep it, I want it to be hardbound. So I very rarely do buy paperbacks. Now, some books I can't find any other way, and I'm not able to find it at my library or be able to get a hold of it. So those are most likely books, and again, they're kind of thrillers, or that I'll read and I know that I won't keep. Even if I really love the book, there's very few thrillers that I can keep because I know the story, and that's the thrilling part of it. So I'll donate that as well. So I had to come on because I wanted to share that, yes, I have quite a few books, but really what I'm coming on is I'm a visual person. So seeing something in a visual manner, whether it's in one of my planners and it's being marked off, or whether it's, even with my coloring, I'm a very visual person, and it helps me keep track of what I'm doing. And part of this is a little sad for me because I already have tons of books, and they're actually still down in the basement waiting for bookshelves for them to come upstairs. And that they really probably should have went on this bookshelf, but yeah, something else filled its spot. But what I'm going to do with this bookshelf is that as I read a book, I'm going to actually turn it around so that all you see is the paper. You don't see the spine. And the reason I'm going to do that is I need to visually see these get kind of counted down, and maybe that'll help me from purchasing too many more, or just encourage me to read more. And I am listening a lot on audiobook because I do have my drive in, and then also while I color I like to listen to audiobook. And I'm kind of weird right now. I can't seem to listen to an audiobook of a book that I have on my shelf. I don't know. I think it's because, again, I want that experience of holding the book in my hand. I don't know. Or maybe I'm just, I'm probably just a little bit crazy on that side. So, it is. We all have our little idiosyncrasies, and I definitely have quite a few. But I wanted to show you now what it looks like, with the hope that as we get moving, more and more will be turning around. So I have finished this book. I now have to choose my next book. And I have two in mind because it is October and I kind of want to read something spooky. One of the books I'm actually afraid to read because I've heard some really spooky things about it. But at the same time, it sounds like it's a great book. And that is down here, and that is Caroline Kepnes, Kepnes, I guess. Author of Hidden Bodies, and that's You. So I have heard some really amazing things. I have seen this on numerous booktubers talking about, and I've also, Stephen King put out a list of like the top books of the, in the last couple of years that he thought was a really good book to read and was spooky. And so this was one of them. So it's either going to be You that I'm going to read, or the other one, kind of keeping in our more spooky Victorian feeling like I had with the Essex Serpent. This one is the Black Rabbit Hall, and it's written by Eve Chase, so Black Rabbit Hall. So it's one of these two. So I'm going to take these two out. I'm going to read 100 pages of each. Or at least a chapter. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll do like the chapter read. I think a lot of booktubers do that, and try to decide which one I'm going to start reading. Meanwhile, because of how I'm wanting to visually see this change, I'm going to turn my book around that I just finished, the Essex Serpent, and I'm going to slide it right in where Rabbit Hall was. So look, there's one red book. But again, we're just looking through, and we're going to see if I can actually get some of these books turned around. So I'm going to go read, and then I'll come back and I'll let you know which one I chose out of those two books that I just showed you.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Wow. That is the first time I've ever done that. I've never read just like the first chapter of a book, and I've never put two books against one another. It was really interesting. So I don't know that I could have picked two that had more of a different beginning, even though both of them are supposed to be probably a little bit of a dark story, but definitely very, very different. And I won't be reading Black Rabbit Hall right now, but it definitely sounds very interesting and like one that I'd want to read. But definitely You has won out. Whew. The very first paragraph, my stomach just kind of moved, and the emotions I was having, probably not ones that most people think about, but oh my gosh, like it was revulsion and interest and a little bit feeling, oh, it was just uncomfortable. I love books that evoke emotions, and I couldn't believe that in the first paragraph, not even chapter, I mean, the chapter was pretty intense too. But it's funny because there's actually a quote here on page 6, and it just, she says to him, because and it takes place, the opening scene is in a bookstore, and she's choosing a book. I mean, it was just, and she's going to go by the name of Beck. Guinevere Beck is her main name, but Beck, which as a Rebecca, I'm often called Beck. I mean, ugh, it was kind of odd at the moment. You immediately get how it's written. This is written from this stalker's point of view, and You is him talking to Beck the whole time, without, like, you're in his head. You're listening to what he's thinking, and then you have the dialogue if they do talk or interact with one another. But, whew, very voyeuristic, very stalking already, and literally, I mean, gosh, the first chapter's only 9, not even a full 9 pages. But on page 6, it just says, well, sometimes you just want to go where it's dark, you know? And I think that's where I'm at. This is probably going to spook me, but at the same time, I'm very eager to get into it. And I'll let you know what I find out. So, in the first book rumble between Black Rabbit Hall and You is declared the winner in this case. I will pick it up and read it, and we'll see what it's like. So keep turning those pages, and I'll be back soon. Thanks for watching.